Don't be scared to
Hey
sip that
guys, what's
juice,
going on?
baby.
Thank you for sipping the juice. You're now tuned into the Black Juice TV with your girl TayJordan of www.theblackjuice.com. Theblackjuice.com is a brand new website that features the best in sports, music, and social commentary. I'm joined here with you guys today to talk about my favorite thing, of course, NBA basketball. And I'm going to provide you with my Game 3 analysis of last night's Eastern Conference Finals matchup of Game 3 between my Cleveland Cavaliers and the Toronto Raptors. I'm first going to start things off with the Toronto Raptors and tell you what they did well and how they got the victory. Secondly, I will give you what the Cavaliers did or what they failed to do. And thirdly, I will finish with my keys to the game heading into Game 4. So let's dive right in and let's talk about the Toronto Raptors. The Toronto Raptors last night, what it basically came down to was they made adjustments, defensive adjustments, that is. If you look at Game 1 and Game 2 in this of this series, I mean, the Cleveland Cavaliers has just dominated. I mean, the Toronto Raptors at times looked like a JV team that was just overmatched to the Cavaliers varsity team. It was horrible, horrific, terrible. I mean, the Cleveland Cavaliers basically owned the paint. If you look at Game 1, the Cleveland Cavaliers scored 50 points in the paint alone. Game 2, it didn't get any better for Toronto. They scored 56 points in the paint. Game 3, Cleveland just scored 20 points in the paint. So definitely much credit given to the Toronto Raptors as a team and Dwayne Casey and his coaching staff for making the proper defensive adjustments and cleaning up that paint. So it definitely was a big change of gears last night in which the Cleveland Cavaliers didn't get as much work done in the paint. So secondly, if you want to look at they just came out with a sense of urgency. DeMar DeRozan categorized this game as a must-win, and definitely it was. I mean, no one wants to go down 3-0 to a team at all in the playoffs. I mean, the Toronto Raptors came into the game with an 0-2 deficit, so it definitely was a must-win for them. They came out strong. They scored 60 points in the first half. They made a lot of threes that first half. They came out with, they got it done. A lot of times, you can look at it like, was Cleveland playing the Raptors and the referees, or but on the home court, you get to exercise your home court advantage, and that definitely happened a bit. If you look at how the game was officiated, the game was very, very physical, but whistles weren't blown both ways. I mean, the Cavaliers only shot 16 free throws, and Toronto went 11 for 13 from the free throw line. So I definitely think that the game was. It may have was some disparities in for the cause, but nonetheless, the Toronto Raptors did what they had to do on their home court. So I think the keys to victory for the Toronto Raptors in last night's Game 3 victory was definitely them cleaning up the paint. I mean, they just made the rotations were swift. They made it difficult on the offensive end for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So I think the main thing was them defending well, and also they out rebounded the Cleveland Cavaliers. I mean, Biombo, who's playing playing a lot of minutes as a result of Valanciunas being injured. I mean, he played awesome. He had eight offensive rebounds. That's more offensive rebounds than what the Cleveland Cavaliers had for the whole game. The Toronto Raptors out rebounded the Cleveland Cavaliers 57-43, so they definitely cleaned up the glass. So I think the biggest keys to victory for the Toronto Raptors was them out rebounding the Cavaliers and also them defending the Cavaliers properly. So let's switch things up a bit and look at what the Cavaliers did or what they failed to do. I mean, I think the biggest glaring thing that you see with the Cavaliers box score is that two of their big three, just did not have a good shooting game. I mean, it's a make or miss league, and Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love struggled offensively. Kyrie Irving went 3 for 19? Yeah, he went 3 for 19. He only scored 13 points, and he only had one assist. Now, one of my biggest criticisms with Kyrie, I'm not saying he's one-dimensional, but you have to be able to impact the game more than offense. If you're having a off shooting night, one assist is not going to cut it. That's inexcusable. I mean, come on, man, you're too good to just be dishing out one assist, especially if you're struggling shooting the ball. So Kyrie Irving, we definitely need more from you. If you're not going to, shoot the ball, at least I need you to dish it, and I need you to defend. Secondly, Kevin Love struggled. Kevin Love only went 1 for 9 from the field. He only had 4 rebounds, and he did not play at all the fourth quarter, coach's decision. I kind of took exception to that, but hey, I'm not the coach. I think that if you're looking at Kevin Love and you go back to the David Blatt regime, Kevin Love had a lot of DNPs that did not play his coach's decision. He had a lot of did not play fourth quarters in particular. And I just look at it like Kevin Love is a $113 million investment. If I'm David Griffin, if I'm Dan Gilbert, I'm looking at Kevin Love, $113 million ticket sitting on that bench, 12 minutes left, and I'm like, why? Why? I mean, I just feel like, you don't praise the guy when he's doing well, and you don't bench him when he's struggling. You stay with your guy, you stay confident in your guy. I think that it just sends the wrong message sending Kevin Love on the bench for an entire fourth quarter. It sends the wrong message not only to the opposition and to Kevin Love and your lack of confidence in him when he struggles, but also it sends the wrong message to his teammates. I think that, if Coach Lue felt like Channing Frye was the hot hand, start the fourth quarter with him. But at the end of the day, it's the game was very much still in winning territory. It definitely was still in reach. But Coach Lue decided to keep Kevin Love on the bench for the remainder of the game. So I think for the Cavaliers going into Game 4, they're definitely going to have to shoot better. I think that I definitely don't expect two of their big three to struggle how they did. I definitely expect Kevin Love to bounce back offensively. I expect Kyrie Irving to bounce back. J.R. Smith, tried to pick up a bit of that scoring slack in which he scored 22 points last night. LeBron was typical LeBron in which he scored 24, 8, and 5. So the keys to the game for the Cleveland Cavaliers heading into Game 4, I think they have to come out a little bit better with a sense of urgency. I think they were very relaxed coming into the game last night, in which they have a tendency to do that. We hadn't seen that in this year's playoffs, in which they started the playoffs 10-0, which is an NBA tying record. So I think that adversity and them losing a game in the Eastern Conference Finals was good. It's good to sometimes, get slapped back into reality, to realize you're not invincible. I definitely expect them to bounce back. I think that they, coaching is not off the hook either. I think coaching has to manage their minutes and their substitution better with their rotations. If you look at last night, Kyrie Irving set out maybe 60 seconds of the fourth quarter. That lineup that Coach Lue started the fourth quarter with was just awful. You came into the fourth quarter down 10, which is very much so in winning distance, in which he just came out with an awful lineup. Kyrie Irving was the only playmaker on the floor, so I definitely think Coach Lue needs to manage his minutes and his players' minutes better and substitutions better. Secondly, the Cavaliers got to continue to swing the ball. I mean, I think that, the 10 games that they won this postseason, it was a result of them, the offense was not stagnant. The ball swang, the ball just kept swinging. It wasn't a lot of isolation basketball. I think that if the Cavaliers come out with a sense of urgency, they move the ball, they rebound, and if Kyrie and Kevin are typical Kyrie and Kevin, I think they definitely put themselves in a position to win the game. As for Toronto, they come out again like they did in Game 3 and Game 4, they give themselves a good opportunity to win the game. And also, if they continue to keep the Cavaliers out the paint, they definitely give themselves a good chance to win the game. So, thanks for watching. Again, it's your girl, TayJordan. Make sure you subscribe to the Black Juice Podcast. You can find the Black Juice Podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, and the Google Play Store. Don't be scared to sip the juice. You can also follow me at Buckets and Music and follow my media page at the Black_Juice on Instagram and Twitter. Again, it's your girl, TayJordan. Don't be scared to sip the juice. Peace.